The biggest reason for doing this is the food drive, the annual food drive we've always been doing, but we just combined that with a festival. And all the friends I haven't seen for a number of years were here today, so we're excited, very excited. So next year, we're going to have it for the second annual, and we're hoping we're going to have it back here again, and maybe another location somewhere on the south side. So I'm Bill Nahalea from there in the islands. We appreciate you for watching, and we've got more shows coming up. And we thank you again, and be safe.
I look at my wife and she said, "Is everything okay?" And then I didn't know what she was saying because I was then losing consciousness. Everything was getting blurred, and I was driving the car, and then I just, in a sense, blanked out. All I remember, I was on a life support system in the hospital, and I lived.
The EMTs arrived, and when they came, they were asking me if Bill's face was drooping or any of that, and they rushed over to see him. And they took one look at him and went, "Oh my gosh, we need to take him right away to the hospital." He was intubated, and they delivered the news that they were expecting the worst, and so for me to prepare for that. And so as I sat there with Bill by myself, a whole bunch of stuff going through my head. And I felt really alone. From emergency, he went to ICU. And while he was there, I kept trying to sing to him, and I just felt like I needed to do what I needed to do to bring him around. I was massaging his fingers and his hands and his feet, and they showed me how I could massage his body so that circulation continued going through his entire body. And I did that because I knew if there was anything, I think as his spouse, all I wanted to do was just bring back life in him. During that ICU, they were looking to see whether Bill was a good candidate to go into the very extensive rehab, and they provided me a couple of options. Either having Bill sent off to the skilled nursing facility, and that was one option. And if we chose that option, I was not going to be able to visit with him at all. The other option that they provided was the intensive rehab hospital that he could go in, which meant that he would be in for 5 days a week for 3 weeks to 5 weeks of 3 hours of intensive rehab with speech therapy, occupational therapy, and physical therapy. He couldn't navigate much with eating. He was confused. He didn't know what day or time or where he was even at. But he was a perfect candidate for being able to go through that rehab. We chose that. And I chose that because then I would be able to be with him every single day from 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock at night. And I felt that was a better option for him because I didn't think that Bill would be able to really survive being alone without having any company at all.
Aloha, go Hawks.
He went from in-house therapy. He learned how to walk. He learned how to navigate going up and down stairs, being able to move from using a wheelchair to a walker, to being able to use his cane and other means of his mobility. So that was really kind of fun, because it was fun for me to watch his progress along the way, and to how I could support him at home so he could continue to have this recovery process. Bill is the kind of person that just wanted to know that he was determined to get better. His goal was always to be able to drive and get back to work.
Watch your hands.
I'll be the one by your side through the good and the hard times, when we're laughing, when we're hurting. I'll be the one that you need through the love and tragedy, when we're winning, when we're losing. Take my hand. There's a better life ahead. Take my word with you and me. There's a better life. There's a better life.
While Bill was in the hospital, almost every single day, since he didn't have a concept of time, he resorted back to his pigeon, and he'd look at me and he'd say, and he'd ask me several times a day, "What time now?" And after a while, I teasingly would talk to him and say, "What time now, Bill?" And so that became a comment that we would say to each other. But "what time now" really translates in Hawaiian. What time is it? What time now spanned, I think just about ready, it spanned when Bill had his stroke, all the way through the various therapy times, the various times of meals, when it was time for him to watch TV, what time he needed to go and take his pills. It just was appropriate that it was what time now represented many, many things in our lives.
My wife had asked me a question, and I guess I was happy because she was able to get me a electric scooter, like a wheelchair, and she said, "Hey, honey, go ahead and take your time and enjoy it." So I took off. I practiced with the electric chair, and then I took off, and I ended up at Kalama Park in Kalama. I ended up in an area where it was just me and the chair and the ocean. And then I came back, and my wife asked me, "Where were you?" I said, "I was by myself." And she said, "By yourself?" I said, "I need time for me." You know why? Because, and please don't get me wrong, I was happy to have people help me, but it sure was nice just to be able to be by myself. Just Bill Nahalea, looking out at the water and enjoying life. I was happy. I think if you care about the person you're with, especially if you're a married couple, you have to go with the good, with the bad, and death do us part, and really, really mean that, and heed that warning, because the reason why marriages don't last, because they don't take that in consideration, that you have to go with the good and with the bad. That's it.